Welcome to Midcard Maniacs, I'm Jay, and today I'm going to be talking about 10 wrestlers from AEW Dark that I think should join AEW when they hit the road. Yeah. Now obviously AEW already has a pretty big roster and they can't sign everybody, and I just want to talk about these people because I like seeing them on Dark and Dark Elevation, and I want to see more of them at some point. Whether it's right away or just down the future when they can expand properly. But I'm going to kick this list off with one of my favorites. It's Reka Tehaka. She's shown up now 6 times, I believe, at the time of filming, and she just has a really cool presence. She has a Samoan background. She just has a really cool look to her. She's super powerful, she's strong, and she almost looks mean, but not in a heel way. Like, she's somebody that can absolutely dominate and throw people around in an aggressive way and not come off like a heel. Her wardrobe, her moveset, and every good wrestling company needs a Samoan. Next up is Willow Nightingale. This is someone I've been following for quite a while now. I featured her in other videos when I was talking about the Bird and the Bee as a tag team, but she's extremely well-rounded. She's a different physique that we don't really have in AEW, and she can go. She's been wrestling quite a while. She's been on the indies just absolutely destroying people, and she's already going against some of the heavy hitters in AEW. So I think she would be a welcomed addition because she's a powerhouse that can move. She's extremely entertaining, and it opens the door when AEW does get tag team titles for the women. She could bring in Solo Darling, have the Bird and the Bee, and they would be a dominant tag team. And she also kicked the shit out of Max Caster last year, so I appreciate that, and I'd like to see her do it again. Next up, we've got Skye Blue. I believe she's the smallest on this list, and that's part of the reason why I like her. She's small, she's really fast, and she's also really experienced. So basically putting her in a ring with nearly anybody would be excellent, but putting her against like someone like Nyla Rose or even Willow Nightingale or Jade Cargill, it would almost bring a similar dynamic to like Riho in matches, where you've got somebody that's like really small in comparison to the people that she's going against, and I think it would be great. Not only that, but she's just cool. When it comes to wrestling promotions and building your brand, you need to have cool people on your roster so that kids enjoy the product. Despite what Twitter thinks, it's not just middle-aged people watching wrestling. You need to have people, so like Luchasaurus, Darby Allin, Abaddon, people that stand out. And I think Skye Blue, well, not like over the top like those other characters, I think she does bring something unique, like with, even if it's just like her backwards hat and the way that she carries herself. Like, I can see young girls in the crowd actually like loving her, and she's just got a cute vibe to her. For example, if you watch her against Genocide, she like is jumping because Genocide is so much taller than her. She's just somebody that would be such a great asset for AEW. Next up, we've got Renee Michelle. This is someone who really caught my eye right when she debuted because she almost has this regalness to her. Even though she's not branded like a queen like 2 other people may be on this list, it's hard to make comparisons, but like, I guess the closest would be almost like a Charlotte Flair. Obviously they don't have the same body type, but she just seems like she's larger than life, and she's excellent. Every match that I've seen her in, I've really loved. She's even got the black and gold outfit, so she kind of fits the AEW vibe already. I don't even really know what kind of role she could play in AEW. She seems like she could be a pretty solid heel, but I haven't heard her on the mic before, but I'm definitely interested in her, and I hope that she joins AEW at some point. And now to get to our first queen, we've got Queen Aminata. Now, if you want to talk about somebody who just has natural charisma and an amazing look, Queen Aminata would definitely be a great addition to AEW. She's someone that if you were to like watch some of her highlights, or you just like turn on AEW Dynamite and you see her, you're gonna be like captivated because she just has this aura about her. She's got this big smile. She's cocky, but not in like a heel way. She would definitely be total face, and her skills are very well rounded. We've seen her against Ty Conti, we've seen her against Diamante, and she was also in a tag team match with Amber Nova against Red Velvet and Big Swole. Again, super well rounded, would love to see her in AEW. And now, while staying on the topic of queens, we bend the knee for Raychell Rose. This is someone I wasn't too familiar with and only found her, I think, at Mission Pro Wrestling like last year, at the very first Mission Pro Wrestling event, and I immediately fell in love with her. So much like Queen Aminata, she's got a big presence to her because she's a queen. She's supposed to. She acts like she's better than everybody. She makes people bend the knee when she walks by them, so there's that crowd interaction, and even still, she's a complete heel. So having that natural heel heat is just fantastic. Kind of like how Britt Baker thinks she deserves the world, and rightfully so. I think Raychell Rose could also fit into that kind of slot, and there are tons of matchups that I'd love to see with her. And after like finding her and then looking her up, you start to realize, oh wait, she has been all over the place. Like she's in a lot of like the ladies' nights out. She's fought some of the best like Kylie Ray, Thunder Rosa, Diamante. So I hope she sticks around. This one's kind of cheating because it's two people, the Sea Stars. We've got Ashley Vox and Delmi Exo. Both haven't had the best performances on Dark or Elevation, unfortunately, because they've been getting squashed, but they are so talented. And much like I was talking about with Willow Nightingale, if she were to bring in Solo Darling, we have Sea Stars that are a natural tag team who work well together. And if they wanted to start building up a proper tag division, why not have proper tag teams involved? We've seen Ashley and Delmi do their own singles stuff as well in AEW, but where they really shine is going to be in tag team wrestling. I don't really know what to say about them because they're so well liked on like the indies and everybody knows who the Sea Stars are. So I just want them to be in AEW permanently, but still being able to work the indie scene when they can. And when we're talking about heels or faces like Sea Stars, they'll go over big time with the audience. They're very playful, they're fun, they're energetic. And again, talking about the kids are gonna love the Sea Stars. There's so many branding opportunities from a business perspective. It would just make total sense to sign them. Next, we've got Ashley D'Amboise. I think that's how you say her name. I don't know. I think it's French, and being Canadian, you'd think I know how to pronounce this. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'm really new to her, but the few showings that I've seen, like when she went against Ty Conti and recently Penelope Ford, she's just blown me away. And even her match with Thunder Rosa, she's very physically fit. I mean, basically everybody on this list is, but she's kind of at a different level of fitness, I think. She's got like the biggest quads I've ever seen aside from Brian Cage, and she's just really good at what she does. I really don't know how long she's been wrestling.
5 minutes later.
So I stopped so I could look up what her record is. She has 8 matches ever, which is kind of crazy to me. So she would be basically a homegrown talent for AEW if they were to pick her up. So when AEW wants to build stars, I think that Ashley D'Amboise would be a fantastic addition. Next, we've got Marti Daniels, who almost has a built-in character right out the gate because she's almost like a Rhea Ripley style. She's big, she's strong, she's got the black outfit with the chains. She just has like a badass brawler vibe to her where she looks like she would just come in and wreck house. Unfortunately, that's not what's been happening. Much like everybody on this list, they've been enhancement talent for other people, but I think she would be a cool addition to AEW because she's a little bit edgier. Like if they push her into more of like the punk rock aesthetic, I think she could really make a big name for herself in AEW. She could stand out, and being that she's taller, she would be an asset because she helps mix up the matches. I know I've been talking about like physique and stature and stuff a lot in this list, but it is something you need to think of when you're talking about everybody in this division, because if you have too many like smaller women, then you never get that like David and Goliath kind of story. So I definitely like to see more of Marti Daniels. Whether she would get signed right away, probably not, but I do want to see her make more appearances and be able to show off more of what she can do. And finally, one of my favorites most recently is Vertvixen, and she's just really good. She may be my favorite wrestler as far as just like pure wrestling ability is on this whole list. What's pretty good about her as well is she has this built-in MMA look to her. I think that's the vibe she's trying to go with for AEW, because in other promotions I've seen her like doing some cosplay. Most recently I saw her as Kratos from God of War, but when she has her gloves on, she looks like she could just genuinely whoop the shit out of anybody. And she looks really mean too. Like she has a really good mean face. I mean, you see her smile all the time if you follow her on Instagram and stuff. She's actually really nice, but she looks like she's there to just show up, kick somebody's ass, and walk out. And it could really add to some interesting feuds between somebody like her and Lindsay Snow, who has an MMA background, or Layla Hirsch. Maybe we could get a women's cage match similar to how we had Hager and Wardlow. She really fits into that whole world. She's only been wrestling for like a couple years, but she seems so much more experienced. Plus, she does have a cosplay background, so if she was gonna spin away from like the MMA stuff, she can create some interesting characters that would feel natural to her, and I think that would be really cool. At this point, I'm just kind of rambling because I basically love everybody on this list and I want them to be involved with AEW for some time. Whether it is still just on like dark matches and maybe they aren't going on the road, but they want to stick around wherever they're gonna have that like locked off dark location, that would be cool. Obviously, there's a lot of other people that have made appearances, Elevation and Dark, that I would want to be part of AEW. Of course, Lady Frost, the aforementioned Lindsay Snow, who I don't think is technically signed yet, but she's been injured for a while. Like, she had a knee issue, so I'm hoping that she returns soon, gets signed, and goes on the road with everybody. Kylan King, I assume, is signed, and Thunder Rosa, she'll be signing once her NWA contract is up, but I said that last time. I said that in the last video, and she's still not signed. So who knows? There's lots of people that I want signed to AEW, but they can't sign all of them. These are just some people from Dark that need to make at least more appearances, even if they're just independent contractors. What do you guys think of my list? Let me know in the comments, and let me know other people that you really love and you want to see more of in AEW. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay up to date with everything here on Midcard Maniacs.